Hello and welcome to the Green Profit Academy Pros podcast. This show digs into the challenges in growing a lawn care and landscape business while maximizing your profit. I'm Christine Era.
And I'm Steve Bousquet. We are the green industry experts in profit, growth, and leadership. Hello, everyone. I am Steve Bousquet, and I am super excited to be here today. We have a guest on our podcast, a friend of mine. I think it's been about 18 years, and his name is Sid Sexton. And Sid is the owner of Sexton's Lawn and Landscape in Daphne, Alabama. Welcome to today's show, Sid.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Sid is a busy guy, so I know every minute of his life really matters and counts, and he makes it count all the time. So I appreciate him taking the time to join us today and share kind of his story and some of his wisdom that he has learned over the past, 18 to 20 years in business. So Sid, just give us a kind of a rundown or introduction of who you are and maybe some history on your company.
Okay. In a nutshell, and I think this sort of gets me to where I'm at is I grew up in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Some of your audience may have heard of a song about it, proud to be an Okie from Muskogee, if you're old enough to know that country song. They definitely smoke marijuana in Muskogee and other drugs. So I was, it's kind of a socioeconomically depressed area, but I started playing soccer. I played all sports, but soccer really stuck in Tulsa, the town outside of it, and it got me into sports and eventually got me to a college that I attended. And I bring that up because sports, soccer in general, other sports like wrestling and football gave me lots of leadership lessons as I grew up and got me kind of interested in people and how do I help people? How do I get people to help me? That kind of stuff. Went to Missouri Valley College to play college soccer and studied business and horticulture together. I grew up just working kind of like everyone else, kind of like you too, working for landscape companies. I just like being outside, and those were the jobs that were available, and that's what I gravitated towards. I still like being outside. I roll around with my doors on and my doors off in my Jeep all the time. My family think I'm crazy. Uh, and so I after college and going through the internships, being at golf courses and other landscape companies, I was kind of disenchanted with the landscape industry through the microscope, or I guess through the lens of education, and kind of gets you into these bigger corporations. And I just wasn't into it for whatever reason, and kind of lost my love for it a little bit, and really more for the industry, for the corporations I was working for. I joined the Coast Guard right out of college. Just thought it was going to be cool. They guaranteed me a station in Hawaii, and my best friend in college was from Hawaii, and so I said, "Yeah, I'll sign up." I went to Hawaii. It was a great time. I ended up meeting my wife, and at about that time is where I was like, "Man, I don't really know if I want to bounce around. I kind of want to build a life with this woman." And you've met my wife. I outkicked my coverage by a long shot. And so I needed to do what I had to do to kind of to stay with her. And she was in the Coast Guard too, but she's from Alabama, and we moved down here to South Alabama. We live on the eastern shore of Mobile Bay. If you're familiar with that area, there's Mobile and then there's Pensacola, and we're kind of right in between along the Gulf Coast of Mobile Bay and Gulf Shores. And I got to be honest, I really got lucky. It's a fantastic place to live. It's a fantastic place to raise your family. And it's a fantastic place to have a landscape company. As soon as I moved here, I started picking up on that and really realized that was the deal. I worked for the city of Daphne in their horticulture department. I was going to Auburn for graduate school, and started with one little job, one design build job, and then it turned into maintaining those two or three design build jobs that I had, and then uh, I don't know. Being and this was 2004 when we moved here and started, and business in 2004, it seemed was just almost too easy. It didn't take long to double in size, to go from like 100,000 in 2004 to like 325,000 in 2005. And I had all kinds of headaches. And by the end of 2005 is when I reached out to our friend and our group leader from where we met each other in ProSalt, to try to find a little help. Because I think even at that early age, I knew, and I had a little exposure to business education, and a little exposure. I mean, I went to business school, but either way, I knew enough to know that what I was doing wasn't working. And I think I'd always looked for mentors and coaches, and I think that's through sports. And even the Coast Guard, I had mentors and leaders that I looked up to and helped guide and shape and mold me. And so I was looking for someone, and I ended up reaching out and getting to this group, and that's where I met you and a bunch of other folks that ended up being really lifelong friends and people that helped shaped my not only my business but my marriage, the way I interact with my children, the way I interact with my people at work, and the way I conduct my life, really, that I learned through a bunch of different people through that peer group. Um, and now we've got three locations along the Gulf Coast, and we've got about just under 100 team members, and we're scheduled to do about $10 million this year. That all sounds fancy, but it's just hard work and kind of consistency, and really striving to be better each year, each month, each quarter, whatever. And man, yeah, I think that's about it. I could say a
Yeah,
lot more, but I'm trying to keep it
sounds
concise.
pretty idyllic the way you just laid it out. But I will tell you, I've known you for 18 years, and
Yeah.
there's just one word I know you don't have in your vocabulary, and that's quit. Whether it's the wrong business model, whether it's the wrong market. I mean, you made it sound pretty easy, but you climbed out of some ditches. You got yourself out of some trenches over those years. And I think that what those mistakes you made early on in your business kind of helped you to get where you are today, because you were like, I'm not playing in that muddy ditch of that business model or serving that market, and it really helped you to define that. But you went through some pain, because a lot of times things look easy when they're happening easily, but it can be a trap. Low priced commercial work, you can get a ton of it, but it's a
Yeah.
trap. You're getting all these new contracts, but you're the lowest priced contractor, and you're signing multi-year contracts with them, and next thing you know, you're almost broke because of
Yeah.
that. You got to switch business models, and you got to refocus. So, I think one of the attributes that you have is that no quit, and being able to shift and adjust. And business is hard. One of the things, I've been coaching people who have been in business for 3 to 5 years, and the biggest thing I've noticed is they didn't realize how hard this was going to be. And my friend Eric Gold, him and I say landscaping is a hard way to make a hard living. So if you're
Yeah.
not in for it, I think the sports that you were sharing, soccer, I would say wrestling probably made you tougher, but we'll go with soccer.
Wrestling makes you way tougher. If you got kids, get them into wrestling because they will learn to grind.
They will
It
learn
is.
to be tough. I wrestle,
Yeah.
you wrestle, I think that's a commonality. But you worked your way through a lot of hard stuff, and you just didn't wake up one day and it was 1 million, 2 million every year growing. You put a lot,
Yeah.
a lot of work into it. Personal growth, professional growth. You took the time. You didn't just find the mentors, you nurtured those relationships. And that's one of the things, I would implore everybody to do, is to find a mentor and then really nurture those relationships, because every minute you give to that relationship, you're going to get so much back. And, It's
Yeah.
interesting. I know competition is one of your highest strengths and Clifton's strength, but it's interesting. Your competition really is you making yourself better because you don't want to beat people. You're always looking to help people out, whether they're in the same industry or not, whether they're in your very market or not. So I think one of your things that I've seen you display is because you gained so much value from the mentors that you work with. You're always looking to give back to other people and be a mentor to them or helping them find a mentor.
Yeah, for sure. That has obviously played a big role in my life, and you specifically. But I think you sought me out. So, but I did want to make sure that I honored the relationship by doing what you asked, and maybe asking good questions, and showing up when you asked me to show up, and doing what you wanted me to do, because I knew it would help me be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I like you are seeking out people to help. I often seek out people that I think I could help and impact and have a
Hmm.
profound effect on their life and career. So that's part of who I am too. All
For
right.
sure.
So the next question is, what is the one big thing you're working on this year, 2023?
Okay. I could say all kinds of fancy things and make it sound like super smart and esoteric business elevated talk, but really what I'm doing it right now is, as our business has grown and mature, my need for a higher level professional leadership group has grown and matured. Um, what the standards are now are higher, and I know that. And some people that I try to bring along can't meet those standards. As much as I love them, and as much as I try to coach them, and as much as I can possibly pour into them, there just are limitations to certain folks. And so what I'm really working on this year is finding high level leaders to lead departments to meet the standards that we have set and laid out. And I think that it's relatively easy because I have built this and progressed up over 20 years. But finding people that can do that and plug in, I have found has been difficult, especially over the last couple of years as our organization has really grown and spread. There's just more people, more moving parts, more things to keep track of, and it takes a really organized professional person uh, to manage that role. And so I'm trying to find those people, but I'm also trying to iron out, how do we hire? How do we interview? How do we attract that top talent? And people say that a lot in podcasts and books that I hear. And so I'm trying to gather all kinds of information and refine our process this year. And now that we're currently, when we're recording this, we're about halfway through, and I've done myself a mid-year review of our progress. And I think we're better than 50% along the way of my goal to kind of get that ironed out.
So it sounds like you moved out of owner-driven business model, and you're managing managers now. And the challenge is hiring managers or even upper-level managers to help you grow and maintain the business. So, back when I first met you, was this one of your visions? Did you see this, or is this something that grew as the business and your personal development grew?
As far as getting to where we're at,
Yes.
okay, sorry, it was kind of cutting out there a little
Oh,
bit, but
sorry. Yeah.
it's okay. Um, I will say no. When I first met you in, I think 2006, probably January 2006, um, I was just trying not to go broke, and I was working probably 80 or 90 hours to make about $30,000. And I know that's not near as bad as some other folks. I do understand that. Um, but even since then, I didn't really have I didn't really have a vision until the business got to a certain size where I looked around and started. I became kind of successful, more successful than I thought I would be. And then I really kind of had to, I guess there was like a self-seeking moment, or not a self-seeking moment, but like a self-realization moment. And just going, what is this for? And it didn't feel right to kind of keep growing, just to keep growing my wealth. Although I'm okay with that. I want to do that, but I want to have impact on others. And I really did love the landscape industry, and I really did like working in it. And I really did remember the organizations that I worked with that were just top down, and I never knew if I was winning or losing, and I never knew what my role was. I never knew what my future was, and I never knew if there was a path for me to get somewhere. And if there was something like that, I might have just stayed there. And so I think I just had this epiphany that that was my job, that was my calling, was to kind of give people that want to work in the landscape industry in my area a place that they can work, grow, and thrive. And so that's what our growth is kind of based on, is creating opportunities for others that want to sort of move up and grow and develop in this industry. And I probably use it. We'll get to this. I've got a podcast about the overlaps in life and business and family and fitness and all those other things. And I want to use business as a vehicle to help people have better lives, be better parents, be better members of their community. Um, we have to be profitable to do that. We have to run a good business, but in the process of doing that, I can help change lives, and I've seen it, especially over the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's pretty profound, that you want to change lives and not just to, increase your own wealth, which you're fine with doing. Absolutely, right? There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
having your own wealth, but also, having impact on other people, especially in your community, through landscape. It's a great industry.
Yeah,
You get to work
yeah.
outside, you learn.
Yeah, speaking of profound, Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough people get what they want, you ultimately get what you want. And I think that's what I really gravitate towards. That kind of hearing that over and over again kind of got me on this path.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's Sid. He's Zig Ziglar is a great speaker. So I've known you. I've seen you grow up, kind of really.
You have.
I've seen you grow up and mature in the business, but also as a man, a father, and a husband. And I think you and I both at certain ages were kind of like a little overconfident, a little overcocky. But I think
Yeah.
some of that was really, because we felt vulnerable, we didn't know what to do, and so that was kind of how we exhibited that. So, share with me, Sid, how your business mindset has matured and grown over your career over the last 20 years.
Yeah, I was definitely overconfident and I don't know, overly, I'm just probably confident. That's probably the best word. But either way, I've matured one through life. Life doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you are, who you are. It's going to humble you in some way. I've been broke a couple of times, like dead broke. We don't even need to go into all that, but like I really needed a bailout at some point in 2010. And a bailout came in the form of, you talk about relationships and mentors. It was a local guy that I had a great relationship with, and he was kind of a mentor too. And he knew that I had gotten into a commercial um, deal, and that company, that commercial contracting company, had really strung us along for about 2 or 3 months and owed us a good deal of money. And 2010 was not a good year for landscapers in general. And they left in the middle of the night and owed me about $120,000, and I didn't have $120,000 or even close to that. And I needed that money that week to kind of make it through. And this guy came through and just wrote me a check for $40,000. And it was just enough to get me by. I ended up laying half those people off that worked for me. I think I had 17 at the time. We got down to about 8 people. It was just me and eight being me. eight, so me and seven other guys doing the work that we had left, and a lot of it was maintenance, and some of it was just a few projects. And I vowed to never get in that situation again. And I think that's what got me really going down the path of learning that business, the language of business is numbers, and really diving into numbers, and how cash flow works, and how profitability is different than your P&L versus your balance sheet, and probably started asking you more questions. And I think maybe you started seeing me turn around. I changed a bunch of things in my life, around that time. And I think maybe you saw, and others saw, a little bit of change in me from this cocky kid to someone that had been crushed by life and business, and came out of that on the other side with a tremendous amount of humility. And so how has my mindset changed? I don't always think I'm the smartest guy in the room anymore. I don't always think I have the answer. I don't always just quickly come up with a response. I try to be more thoughtful, and I try to check my assumptions. And I think I really did at that point start to gather people around me and build relationships with people around me, that knew that they could tell me that was really off base if I was. And I have been since then, because confidence does come back. And I have stacked up a bunch of wins between 2010 and now. But I have avoided some major problems, and I can see those bullets have been dodged by the people I've put around me, that have spoken into my life. And I think that's the biggest thing. Is just humility has probably been my number one word, and my watchword for the past, I don't know, decade and a half.
Yes. So, I mean, those tough business lessons are hard, but they're just one of those necessary things. I've been broke. You've been broke. I don't think
Yeah,
that you talk to a successful entrepreneur that hasn't been broke at some point, but that's where that quit word, it just doesn't show up, and people see that in you and they want to support you. They rally around you, and this guy cuts you a check for 40 grand. That's a lot of money just to write a check for. And
yeah,
you made it through that. And 2010, I mean, that's not that long ago, right? I mean, that's only 13 years ago. So a lot has
yeah,
happened since the day of broke to today. And I think those lessons that you and I have both learned, even though they were painful at the time and embarrassing and shameful,
yeah,
have really given us that, humble mentality of, being more curious, understanding that it's okay to ask questions and be wrong, and everything. And, I've kind of prided myself, after I, resigned my cockiness, to, instead of knowing the answer, is like, how do I ask great questions? How do I be more
yeah,
curious? So I think that has been a skill and talent that I've worked on continuously, and I'm still improving today. But yeah, it's just like, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and you think you know it. And it's the day that we realize we don't know it, that is when we really start learning and succeeding.
yeah,
And you keep, again, you keep mentioning other people, being around other people, and having, people in your life. And that's one of the things in business. If you talk to any successful business person, they realize they're not doing it alone. We need our wife, our family, our spouse. We need our community. We need these friends, even outside of our community. I'll call it our like landscape community, or we develop other communities. You and I have friends all across the country, and even different parts of the world. It would
yeah.
take us months to drive across the country to visit everybody that we knew in these different states in
Hmm.
this industry. And there's this automatic connection that we all have to each other in the landscape industry if you've been in business for a while, because that means you did the time, you put the hours in, you had the pain, the unpleasantness, and also, the spouses of people that own small businesses and landscape businesses. There's an automatic connection because the spouse has always shared in that, like, that entrepreneur, the business owner, is away from home. So that spouse has to become independent. And I've noticed, there's a lot of the guys who own landscape businesses, they are married to these very independent women because they had to be. They had to raise the kids. They had to make sure the house was, not falling apart while we're off, chasing our dreams and building our business. So it's very interesting to see that, we really need to create these people. And sometimes they're not right around us. The people that have this higher thinking mindset or the support we need might not be right in our town. And sometimes they are, like you found. So we have to keep our eyes open. So Sid, if there was two pieces of advice you could share, and what I'm gonna ask you to give one piece of advice to the guy he's got his back up against the wall, or the woman, they have their back up against the wall. There's just only cloudy days. There's no sunshine. It seems like it's never going to get better. And then I'm also going to ask you to give a piece of advice to someone who's been in the business maybe 15 years and they're looking to move it up to the next level. What piece of advice would you give? So, first give that, to that person that is just, in a situation mentally, physically, maybe they're exhausted, they're tired, they don't see any light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay. The first one that, has gotten themselves back into a corner, I would, let me think about that. A couple of things comes to my mind. Number one, just figure out your cash. That's the only way business goes out of business is they run out of cash. So what's your cash like and how can you manage that the best? That's going to be different in a bunch of different scenarios. Sometimes it's a relationship with a guy coming in and giving you a check for $40,000 as a down payment for a landscape job that he's not going to do until next year. Uh, where can you get some cash? Because that's what you need. You need some air, and cash is the oxygen. And it sounds like I know from personal experience, when I get backed into a corner business wise, I feel like I'm running out of oxygen because my cash is running out. So that's kind of step one. Step two is watch your mental health. And this is probably where I started getting back into fitness a good amount. Maybe too much. I don't know. But, I would just try to find, if you can find 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes a day to kind of clear your mind and get a little exercise or something, you will approach your problems that you have to address. There's no avoiding it. You will approach it with a better mindset, I think, a little clearer mind, a little more fresh, and a little more optimistic. It's tough playing defense. I know this from experience. I played defense for like 2 years, and I was just tired of it. But the only thing that really got me through was getting up early, 4:30, making it to the gym by 5:15, being done by 6:15, being at the office by 6:30, um, and there with a few minutes early before the guys got there at 7, gave me a moment to kind of have my head wrapped around what the plan was for the day. And so there's that. That's probably my advice. And it's not great specific advice because I don't know the specific situation, but I know in general, those two things really help me out. And I give you that advice from my experience. Number two, if you've been in business for 15 years and you're looking, I'm assuming from your question, and I guess clarify if I'm wrong, but this person has gotten to a plateau and is trying to figure out how to make it to the next level or even what the next level is.
Yeah, they're
If
kind of stuck or they're not sure where to go.
Okay, so then I would say this: if nothing changes, nothing changes, and that's profound as well. If you kind of really think about it, it's simple but easy. I mean, simple but not easy. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So what what got you to where you are at that plateau is not going to get you to whatever the next level is. So who do you have to talk to? What book do you need to read? What group do you need to be a part of? What seminar do you need to go to? What program do you need to enroll in? I don't know what it is, but I would do this. I would say, I am here. I would do some real um, intentional thinking time. There's a great book called The Road Less Stupid, written by Keith Cunningham, and he talks about thinking time. If you're in EOS, and I'm sure we'll get to that at some point, there's clarity breaks. It's the same thing, but the bigger your business, not the bigger, but the more sophisticated your business gets and the higher you get in your career path, I always kind of say this: you're going to get to a point where you have to level up, and that's the obstacle you've got to overcome to get to the other side. And it's like every little stage, there's going to be an obstacle. You've got to be able to find some time to think about it. Keith Cunningham says that operators react and sweat, and business owners think and plan. So you got to find some time to think. And what I would be thinking about is, where am I at now and where do I want to be? If I don't know where I want to be, figure out where I want to be. And then the space between where you are now and where you want to be is the gap. And what do you got to do to overcome that gap?
Core Growth Strategies provides business growth management solutions through cloud accounting, bookkeeping, and strategic business consulting programs. Our team works with small businesses in lawn care and landscape and trade industries throughout the U.S. We increase our clients' business acumen by creating business performance transparency through financials and strategic advisement based on industry best practices and benchmarks. Our experienced team provides support, guidance, and coaching, thereby allowing our clients to connect with viable data and discover their own solutions. Core Growth Strategies programs and services are designed to get your business from where it is now to where you have always dreamed it to be. Visit us today at coregrowthstrategies.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Don't miss our exclusive limited time podcast special. Just mention promo code GPA Pro to any member of our team during your complimentary consultation, or enter the promo code on our site when you sign up for one of our online programs. That's promo code GPA Pro.
In my experience has always been books, podcasts, kind of. Groups really help. Educational programs. That's why I'm a big fan of Green Profit Academy. I try to support you guys as much as I can when I can, because I think that is the key to kind of getting people from where they are to where they want to be. And I don't know what the answer is, but it will come through those conversations, through that interaction, seeing others that have found a way through. Will help you kind of figure that stuff out. So if I consolidate that, man, I think you got to mind what is coming, what inputs are coming into you: books, podcasts, educational programs, because it's easy. It's easy to say, well, we can't find anyone to work. That's bullshit. Oh, can I say that on here?
Sure.
Okay, that's crap. You can't, I mean, like, what are you talking about? We've got 100 people in South Alabama. Get out of here. You can find people to work. You just don't want to have to do it. It's hard. And that actually is the obstacle that if you overcome that, you win. That's it. Well, we can't get anyone to buy our service at the right price. That's not true either, man. You're just not selling it right. We tell ourselves stories to make us more comfortable with the situation that we're in. And that's just not the truth. If you put yourself around other people that have overcome that obstacle, it starts to dilute that story in your head. And you go, well, man, I guess if they figured out a way, I can probably figure out a way. They're not more intelligent than me. They've just worked at it. So I think just putting yourself out there and expanding your horizons opens up your eyes to what is possible.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, and great advice. You didn't say add another service. You didn't say buy another. Your mower was the wrong color. It should have been red and it was orange. or that, you were talking about exercise, and, I think all of the doctors, and, they'll argue about the length and the type of exercise, but really,
Sure.
minimal amount of exercises. I think it's proving 20 minutes a day, 150 minutes a week, whether it's walking. It could even be yard work. It just needs to be some type of exercise really benefits not only our body, but also our mind. And you brought up thinking differently, and limited beliefs. I was doing a visit for a business now that is like 3 times when I visited them. And one of the managers told me there's just not enough homes in this market to actually build a business here. And, they have since more than tripled since I visited them, going from 3 million to almost $10 million. So the mindset, though, was that, or there's no good people to hire, or whatever that limiting belief is, there's no way I can charge more for jobs. One of the interesting things that you've learned and I learned is, one of the first things is to raise our prices, right? And we get
Right.
over that. No one will ever pay that. We have someone I'm working with in Texas, and, we had them raise their prices significantly. And the pushback was no one will ever pay that. And not only are the people paying it, they're going to have the biggest and best year they ever had in the history of their business, charging more money than they've ever charged before. And it just literally has blown their mind. But, they got around someone that has done it, someone that has experience and can prove that does not reduce how much work you sell. It actually increases it, because now you're a healthier company and you can hire better people, which gives you more quality, which means you can take on more clients. It just expands the universe. Books are a great resource. I think I've teased you and another one of our friends, Joel, stop reading books for a while and start implementing.
Yeah.
So books are great, but we can't just always be reading books. We have to say, what is this? What did I get from the book, and how do I implement it? And you've really been super good at that. With you're not just a reader, is what I'm saying. You read and implement. So we just can't read a book and have it. The book won't do the work for us. You're a great example
Yeah.
of reading the book and actually doing, what the book recommends, and seeing the results from that. And Keith Cunningham, The Road Less Stupid, he talks about the thinking time is the most valuable time. And I think Henry Ford was a big fan of thinking. And, he would just sit there and stare off, and people were like, why are you wasting time? He's like, I'm actually doing the heavy lifting at my business. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So if we're running around all the time, so busy, and we don't have time to think and reflect, and, that's really going to hurt our business. And that's, even during exercise, a lot of time is when people have their profound thoughts, because it's
Yeah.
quiet, unless, you're tossing somebody around in judo or jujitsu, if you're running or if you're walking, it's quiet.
Well, you mentioned jujitsu. I like to do things like jujitsu and CrossFit because it shuts my brain off for a minute. I'm not real good at meditation. I try it. I'll try all kinds of things, but those two activities shut my brain off for 30 to 50 minutes. And I can't think of anything else but that. And then when I come out of that, whew, my brain is fresh and I'm moving well. And I can, the free floating anxiety that can kind of float around in a businessman's head or woman's head starts to clear up after that happens, and it feels like, a good meditation session should happen, or should feel like after it has
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you have to do what works for you. Other
Yeah.
people have all different kinds of things. They go kayaking, canoeing, mountain climbing, hiking, walking, jujitsu, judo, whatever it is that really resonates with you, and can show up in your life. When when I'm in the sauna, it's 200 degrees. You really can't think of much else.
Really cannot.
It's quiet. We have kind of a quiet rule at our sauna in our backyard, so there's not a lot of talking and chit chat. So I'm not very good at meditating either, but that's a place where I can quiet my mind and just. I can't think too deep thoughts about business. I have to just stay present in my mind and body, because
Yeah.
it is hot, 200 degrees, and you're throwing water on the rocks and you're getting even more steam. So, find what works for you. And, you might already have it in your life, just step into it a little bit more, and it will actually make your business healthier and your business grow. All right. So the next question is, what is one thing you would have changed or done differently over the last or past 5 years?
What would I have done? Man, that's a tough one. I think I so I love people and I want to have a positive impact on people. It has been, and I'm overly optimistic about my abilities to change people and grow and develop them. I'm overly optimistic about it. So what I've done, especially in the last year, maybe 18 months, is anytime I've got like an idea about a person or a development plan for a person, and I'm talking like a high level. Someone's going to run a department, run a branch, run some division, whatever. Um, I make sure that I talk to, we've developed this leadership team that I just run that stuff past them, and I've given them the green light to go ahead and shoot holes through that, and essentially say, "Hey, where am I wrong here? Please shoot holes through my overly optimistic assumption." They know me; we've been together a long time. This leadership team, and they just start asking better questions than I'm able to produce myself. And again, that probably starts with humility, just knowing that, knowing myself and knowing my proclivities that have gotten me in trouble in the past, and just trying to insulate myself from that. I would say that. The other one I would do is like, I we'll talk about, and maybe this is a good segue for me to get in and talk about EOS and traction and all that stuff. I would have started that 5 years ago instead of 3 years ago. Um, and you mentioned it before that, I think you got me on the book path, a long time ago, maybe 15 years ago. I remember, I mean, you gave me three specific books: Profit First, and then you gave me, I think you gave me Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits before
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah,
which was a good book, but it's a little more complicated than Profit First, and Profit First sort of dumbs it down or simplifies cash flow management better.
yeah. Definitely
And then you gave me, God, I don't know, a bunch of other books, but either way, uh, I think EOS is this. I did commit to only reading and trying to implement one book a quarter. That's big for me. I was trying to read like two books a month and all that stuff, which is just getting inundated with ideas that I can't execute. Sort of causes some of that anxiety that I talked about. But like EOS and the software that we run with it, 90, is a framework for those ideas that I have. If you're familiar with EOS, like, I'm the visionary. I've got ideas about things. I got ideas about where we're going to be in 5 years and 10 years. I got ideas about what our market share should be in this new market that we're not even in, and what the leverage points could be there. And I could be wrong about it, but I still got ideas, right? But like, EOS and 90 gives me a framework to run that stuff through, and allows me to be who I am, which is the visionary, and allows me to put people around me to help support that vision. And I thought for years that I had to be in the EOS world, called the integrator, and I'm just not good at that. I can adapt to be an okay integrator, which is kind of a manager of details, and that's just not my strong suit. And I was beating myself up about that. And I think business progresses the way it's supposed to. I think I was supposed to handle those details early on. I think I was supposed to go through that pain. I think I was supposed to, hell, I was supposed to do the bookkeeping, for the first 5 years. And I was supposed to do all the estimating. I was supposed to do all the designs. I was supposed to mess that stuff up. I was supposed to be the irrigation tech. I was supposed to be the one and only lawn care tech that we had at the beginning, you know. And then I was supposed to be the one and only salesperson for all of those services until I didn't have to be. And so I had an understanding of what the people needed to be as we moved up and out. And, I was able to delegate and elevate after I'd done it and understood what that was. And I wish I would have started EOS in 95 years ago.
All right. So EOS was the process or system you wish you had started 5 years ago. And I do see the impact in your business. It does make your business much more easy to run, much more efficient. But there's one thing I want to revisit. So you said now you go to your team, you throw these ideas. I'm a visionary too, and I also go to my team and I say, hey, this is my idea. Shoot holes in it. And I tell them, my chief operating officer, Chris Bishop, I said, if we agree on everything, one of us is not needed, right? So I need you,
Yeah.
right? If we're just yes, yes, I don't need more yes people. And so I go there with ideas and they shoot the holes in it and everything, and I go back and readjust it. So I really appreciate their input on that. I actually look forward to it. Because I'm very optimistic also. So it was interesting. I was with a business owner who was, I would say, I'm going to say an immature mindset business owner. And I was sharing that process with him. And he just looked at me and goes, no, I never would do that. When I want something, I just do it. And I just smirked. I smirked inside, and I just smiled and nodded my head. He hasn't got there yet, so he hasn't seen what it's costing him by being that silo. So
Yeah.
he'll get there. I'll probably help him get there. But it was just very interesting to hear that, because I would have said almost the same thing at a very certain age or a part of my career, not realizing that there are a lot of people who are very smart and very talented that have these awesome ways of helping us and the business, and just allowing them the space.
I think that's one of the things that I've learned, especially through business, is that like everyone is different and everyone has like unique God-given talents. And I am not, I am not I don't hold a monopoly on talent in my business. Um, I do. Here's another thing that I have learned. I am the only one in my business truly responsible for what the outcome is. I'm the only one holding a personal guarantee on most of those notes. So the decision has to come from me. So I'm not abdicating my responsibility. I want to make sure I'm clear about that. And I'm not abdicating the decision making process. I'm trying to use others' input to make a better decision. It's not groupthink, it's not group decision making. I'm not slowing down the process because I don't want to make a decision. I'm getting other information because I make decisions too quickly without thinking about all the facts. And these people, um, Jamie, Jamie Show, who's our finance director in particular, is really good at slowing down and thinking, and then really she has a unique perspective on things because she just sees and listens and observes, but doesn't really talk much. She will give you an opinion if you ask, but it's going to come a little slower and it's going to be really, really thoughtful. And so, what my process has become is emailing what the issue is. So she has time to think and digest it. And then we meet the next day or that afternoon, and she always has some really good insight. But I have in the past taken that insight and still gone with my idea because it wasn't strong enough to sway me from it. And it worked out. It's fine, but I do want to make sure I'm clear about that like I still own the responsibility of making that decision. And if I use their input and it still doesn't go well or whatever, I don't blame them. It's my job.
Absolutely, yes. Yep, you have to move forward. And that's really, honoring their strengths by putting out in front of them. I do a lot of coaching with Clifton Strengths with teams. And one of
Mm.
the things is realizing who on your team needs more time. Like you and I, people at, last minute, we're fine with stuff. If they ask us
Yeah.
questions on the spot, we're fine with that. Other people, you can't go to a meeting and just ask them that one question that one time and expect them to know or like even be comfortable with it, right? So, they need more time. So emailing them allows them that time. And so when I work with these teams and they're like, okay, these people need more time. And when they allow that space, the answers are better, the quality's better, things move much faster. Before, you get in the meeting, they ask them the questions, they want the feedback. People are like, it seems like they don't know, they don't care, they're not interested, they're delaying, procrastinating. But in reality, the process is like you're doing, give them that information up front, give them some time to chew on it, look up some data, and come with an intelligent, thought out answer. So that's a great process.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're going to get into, share with me about your podcast, Overlap Podcast. Share, what it's about, what's the mission, who's your co-host, and how's that going?
Okay, so I've got a podcast called the Overlap Podcast. It's with my friend Keith Glines. We've been working out and training jujitsu together for I don't know 7 years, and he's kind of a techie guy that like helps people have podcasts and all this other stuff. And he helped publish books. And I still don't really quite understand what he does for a business. None of it makes sense to me. It's not like a real business, in my opinion. And that's probably more personal inside banter between Keith and I. But we would be done with jujitsu and kind of like just, you know, getting back about our day or working out in the morning and he we would be having these business discussions and he would hear me talk to other people and he's like, man, we really gotta get a podcast together. And he probably worked on me for about 6 months because you heard me talk about humility um, being kind of my watchword. I think I'm pretty sensitive to just, and it still comes out, but I'm just trying to not be the Mr. Know-it-all kind of guy, and it comes out in me, and I don't like it. So, but either way, he talked me into it, and the reason I decided to do it is because I feel like, and I felt like the podcast that I listened to, and I wasn't like, I didn't scour the freaking podcast universe, but it seemed like most of the podcast information I got or ran across was for larger businesses with bigger concepts that didn't really get down to nuts and bolts, and it didn't really, it either was all ethereal or all like just didn't seem to be based on good experience or fact. And so I decided to just have this podcast called The Overlap, and the name sort of indicates that being better or becoming a better business owner or a better leader in the business or just better at work does help me become better at home and being better at some sort of like exercise. And this has just been my experience, and I'm not pushing this on anyone, but this is, I'm putting that out there that like becoming better at jujitsu, which is something kind of like golf, but just much more combative and competitive, in my opinion. Just becoming better at that forces me to kind of rethink how I approach all kinds of other issues. Like I have to get real comfortable being uncomfortable in jujitsu. I have to get real comfortable being uncomfortable and thinking through a systematic way to get out of a problem that I got myself into. Or I've got to be systematic on how I'm going to approach this person. And each person you fight essentially or compete against poses a different problem. Some people like to play guard, some people like takedowns, some people like arm bars, some people like chokes. And I'll boil it down to this. If I want the choke, then I'm going to go attack the arm. And when they defend the arm, it exposes the neck. So I'm thinking three moves ahead. Um, and at the same time, that's me on attack. But at the same time, there's just no, in the contracting world, in the business world, one of the things that really drives me crazy is everyone seems to be full of it and full of crap. There's just a lot of BS around there.
Okay.
There is zero BS in jujitsu. Zero. You cannot like have the fancy outfit and know all the language and do all the stuff because nothing's going to save you. If you're not good at jujitsu or you're out of shape or you don't know the technique or whatever, it's just going to happen. It's going to come up. You're going to be exposed. And I like that for myself being exposed, that I'm just not good at like playing guard or whatever. And I love that, and there's boom, it's real apparent what I got to work on. So that's kind of the podcast. It's not all about jujitsu, but it really is about becoming a better leader. It is all about like finding purpose in life and finding purpose in your business. We talk a good bit about God and like how how I've been blessed with certain things, or how other people are blessed with certain things, and how do I help them see that, or how do I help them grow that, or how do I just make a better impact in life and becoming better? How I show up for the workout, if I'm going to do all the reps, if I'm going to put in the effort, if I'm not going to cut corners, is how I'm going to show up for work. How I show up for work and how do I talk to my people is how I'm going to talk to my children. You know.
Yeah. So how I show up for those things really kind of helps me become better in the other aspects of life, and there just is no compartmentalization in life. They do bleed over. If I'm struggling at work, I'm probably my wife's going to know, and I'm probably going to be struggling there. And the more and the better I communicate that, and the better I sort of kind of blur the lines, the better everything goes.
Right. So from my understanding with the overlap is all parts of and every part of our life overlaps into each other. And so we can't compartmentalize every part of our life because it just doesn't exist. And the people I visited 40 businesses all over this country multiple times, over 200 visits. One of the things that I noticed, the people that really enjoy their work the most are the people that don't compartmentalize. So
yeah.
So, there's no lines anywhere, and they show up the same way everywhere they go. And, so people always know what to expect, and they always know what to give. And I share the story about how, probably till I was about 50 years old, I was showing up at places how I thought people needed me to show up, who they needed me to be. And when I finally realized that I just show up as myself, and then whoever needs that shows up for that. And I will tell you, it's increased my life, quality of life profoundly, and also my impact on the groups and people I deal with. And it's made it a lot easier to be me. So, if you're not fully realizing that how much your life overlaps, listen to Sid's podcast. It's going to be in the show notes. And, he does book reviews. They have really good guests on. I would totally.
Yeah, I think you've been on there twice.
I've been on there twice, but you have other guests that are really excellent that bring a lot of good information. And so it's just good to hear other people's story, and that things are not easy in life and things aren't supposed to be easy. Like, you said everything that you went through, we appreciate we've done the jobs. I've done almost everything in my business except bookkeeping, you realize what goes into it, and you have a greater appreciation for the people that are doing it. So I listen to the Overlap podcast. They have over 100 episodes, which is quite an accomplishment in itself, but the content I think is really solid. And it's a special relationship between Sid and Keith. And, they've worked together, they trained together, and they've gone through things together, and that brings a certain quality to that relationship, and they bring that to the show. Okay, the next question is the EOS system. Is it the entrepreneurial operating system?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I think you're coaching people in your local market. I don't know if you've spread that out nationally. Share us about a little bit about what that is and what you're doing in your community with it.
Well, so I think you could probably tell from my earlier comments, I think that EOS has been it has played a tremendous impact on myself and our business. And really, I guess I was looking for this is kind of what I do, looking for others that in my area that are running EOS. And I was running it. We had gone through the first year, and I really I had drank the Kool-Aid, and I was trying to just immerse myself more in it and kind of put a statement out there somewhere, and saw that this other guy was doing it. And then we sort of talked just a little bit, and he decided, like, man, we should really, put this out to the, the Eastern Shore, like where we're at. And we just started a little meetup, and then that grew from there. And, for free, the last Thursday of every month, we meet at the community college in our town, like in Fairhope. And we just go through one of the key components of traction, or EOS. And we just try to educate people on how to get started, how to keep going with it. It's called the Energy Group. It's Energy, I don't know. He came up with it, but like, are you engaging with EOS? Are you new to EOS? Just sort of dipping your toe in. Are you new, starting it? Are you growing with EOS? So yeah, Energy. And we just try to touch on that. And then from there, we broke out, like the second Wednesday of every month. We've got like little small groups that will kind of come together, and people are welcome to come to our leadership meetings. Or in EOS world, they're called L10 meetings, level 10 meetings. And they're, man, we encourage, I've probably had 20 people come to our L10s this year alone to just observe and see how we run that meeting. And we don't run it perfect, but it does give you an idea of how you could run it, and what is said, and how a 90-minute meeting can seem like, it goes by quick and lots of things happen. I think that people hate meetings in general because they start late, they end late, lots of things are discussed, there's no real agenda, and nothing really happens. Everyone thinks they're a big waste of time. And EOS, and I kind of agree, but EOS really forces you to stick to an agenda. If you run 90, it's actually got a timer for each portion of the agenda. And every meeting ends with to-dos. To-dos that I'm going to own this task, and it's going to be done by next week. And it either is done or it isn't done. But in that group, that group pressure to get that stuff done, or be exposed as someone that doesn't do their work, is pretty powerful. And so you end up getting lots of things done over the course of 365 days, or 52 weeks, or 50 weeks, however you want to approach it. And man, and each meeting is designed to address the main problems. You don't just jump and talk about whatever Jimmy brought up. You just make sure, let's put that on the IDS list, and let's make sure that that's the number one thing we need to talk about. We get to the IDS issue, which is identify, discuss, and solve. And we'll address those, if it's in the top 3 or top 5 or whatever, and you've got a certain segment amount of time to address those issues. If you can't address those issues within that time, you got to set another time to do that. And that's just what it does. That's just how it's set up. It starts on time, it ends on time, and you score each meeting from level 1 to level 10, and you're looking for a 10 meeting every time. EOS on top of that gives me a framework for what does my accountability chart or org chart look like. And we all know these kind of things, but it just, the software 90 gives me that framework. We all know we need to give our people reviews, but this gives me data that they are reporting each week on their scorecard. And it gives me a way to look at that and review it with them. They've got people analyzers where it's grading them on their performance from their scorecard. And then it's got culture analyzers. Are they a culture fit with these culture aspects? And then you have built-in discussions each quarter, and it's pretty good. And you've got quarterly meetings with, the leadership team, maybe the operations team, maybe the sales team. And you just recalibrate every quarter to make sure that you adjust what you're doing to end up getting to that end goal at the end of the year, or the end of 3 years, or whatever you're setting. So I like it, man. It really gives me a framework to operate within.
I could tell by your excitement surrounding it. So what size business, when do you start this? What's the size of your business that you need to look into EOS or traction, or like, is it 500,000, 1 million, 2 million? Is it day one? What is it?
Yeah, so they say anywhere from $500,000 to $20 million can easily run on EOS. And it doesn't really say number of team members. I can tell you this, that Keith doesn't. I think he's got 2 team members. I think it's him, his son, and his wife. And how about that? And then I wouldn't want to do that at all, ever. But then he's got contractors because they're sort of in the digital space. He's got like graphic design people over here, and then he's got a program person over there, and they're contractors. But he's got them in there in his accountability chart because that's who they go to for this or that, right? He's got like a social media person that does that, and they're in on certain meetings, and they operate on EOS with essentially 3 employees and probably 4 contractors. And it works really well for them. And they're probably somewhere right around the $800 to $1 million range. Mm-hmm. And then I know there's businesses, the guy Forrest that helps me head up that energy group, they're doing somewhere right around 17 million. And they've got tons of team members, and they got, people all over the country. And it works fantastic for them. So, everything in between.
And those 2 books are the EOS and Traction System, right?
So, well, the 2 books is Traction is kind of the textbook, and these are all the terms. This is how it works. And Get a Grip is really like the business fable. If you're familiar with Pat Lancioni, it's sort of set up in that capacity. Like there's this fictitious company that is struggling and trying to figure out a way out or a way to solve their problems, and they stumble across this, EOS stuff. And then this is their journey to find an implementer, someone that comes and helps them install EOS, and then their journey to kind of get it up and going. And then how that changes their business and changes the culture.
Nice. All right. We'll put those down in the show notes too. All right. So we're at our time. I want to thank you very much. We're not done yet. Well, I want to thank you for your time today, and thank you for being on the podcast. I know everyone really enjoyed it. You shared some profound ideas and concepts with us, and really appreciate that.
Well, thanks for having me, man. Hey, thank you for being making such a profound impact in my life. You really did reach out to me at a time that I needed somebody, and I think you actually just called me and told me to come visit you before one of our annual meetings, and I think that did kind of set me on the right course, and I really appreciate the relationship. I know I've told you before, but your audience needs to know this, that you really make a lot of you really have helped a lot of people, and me being in particular, and I've seen it, and you really have kind of shaped my worldview and my view of what it is to be a business owner, what it is to be a family man, and what it is to be, someone, a happy, productive member of my society too, my community. You do kind of inspire me to be better, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for those words, and you're doing the same for me and for many other people with what you're doing with your life and your business and in your community. So, well, thank you everyone for listening. Thanks again, Sid, for sharing your time and your insights, and we look forward to everyone joining us on the next podcast.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Thanks for listening to the Green Profit Academy Pros Podcast,
the show that digs into the challenges of growing a lawn care and landscape business while maximizing your profit.